Now what?
You see record on the bottom?
Uh-huh.
I don't know, just click it. What does it say?
It's not giving me a timestamp, but it says recording.
Okay.
So I'm recording it now.
I guess. It's my first Zoom meeting myself.
Oh, was it really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's let her rip. Why not? What's up, everybody? Broadcasting to you live from the Milky Way galaxy, the solar system, planet Earth, North America, the United States of America, Kentucky, Louisville, to be specific. My name is Brian Engelman, and welcome to another episode of The Unhappy Hour here on the TNAM network, because the news always matters. This is the New American Media, and we have been bringing you varied content over the past 9 years. We started in 2011, basically May Day 2011. Mayday, ship is going down. Well, there's some ship going down these days. I see Blake Walley signed in. Let me wave at Blake Walley in the Facebook group. What up, Blake? Blake is
Hello.
a diehard Minnesota Vikings fan. Let me see. Blake is joining us today. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well, Brian. Thanks for asking.
Yeah, so
How are you?
I'm living the dream.
Well, as you can see, I'm also living the dream here at the beautiful vacation here.
Yeah, Blake, if you're
Lovely day.
You can't actually. Maybe I can show. This is Blake.
Live in Bora Bora.
Can you see it on your camera now? On your phone?
What's let me see that.
Yeah, you should be looking at yourself. This is
might be a delay. Let me see.
Wait, you're not seeing yourself on the palm trees?
Not right now. There might be a tape delay.
Okay.
Oh, there it is. Okay, I see it.
Yeah, there you go.
That looks good.
Wave to yourself. Wave to yourself.
Hey.
All right.
See what kind of a delay it is. Oh, that's a long delay.
So Blake wanted to do a sports show, and I said, yeah, let's do it. So buy me some pistachios and Cracker Jack. I don't care if I ever get back. Blake, there's a lot of talk about the Cleveland Indians maybe being moved. There's a lot of chatter.
Really? Are they going to go to, well, I guess they can't go to Miami like they did in the movie.
I don't know, but it's popping up again. The lease isn't signed, and there are concerns, and I don't know. Have you ever lost a franchise, like your North Stars or something?
Yeah.
You ever lose a...
Yeah, the North Stars, that was a big controversy back in the day. I don't know if that was like 1995 or so. North Stars, they had just played in, I think, the Stanley Cup against Pittsburgh. They were pretty dominant with Mario Lemieux, and then we had the young Mike Modano. And then before you knew it, they took them to Dallas, and it was it was not well received. It would be similar, although not nearly as serious as it was in Cleveland when Art Modell moved them to Baltimore. But it was in the ballpark. I was never really a big hockey fan, but it was a huge deal in Minnesota at that time.
So that's up in the world of sports. Anyway, I'll have plenty of more time. That's a teaser, because we're going to do a deep dive into some of that stuff a little later. Check us out on The Unhappy Hour. It's a private group in Facebook, The Unhappy Hour Sports Show, a support group. We're starting a brand new YouTube channel that's sports only, just to kind of keep it completely separated from the other content that we provide. But yeah, join us. There will be future content about that topic. But for now, I mean, I think one of the topics, I don't have the agenda in front of me of what you had wanted to discuss, Mr. Blake, but I believe one of the things was the future of sports, right?
Yeah, future of sports, 2020 and beyond.
All right.
How's the rest of the schedule is going to go? There's a lot of questions because we don't even know if there's going to be any sports this year. That was floated around. I saw Dr. Fauci
Hmm.
Saw an article about that saying, hey, it's one of the things we might have to prepare for. No sports for 2020, and then who knows?
Yeah. I have thoughts on that. I have some issue. I've given some consideration to this. If it's a 14-day quarantine and these players want to keep collecting their millions of dollars, wouldn't they have just holed up at the Hilton or the Marriott, Grand Hyatt, wherever you're at, and just stay there with your team, your doctors, the basic, the television crew. You self quarantine. We're on 5 weeks. We could have been 3 weeks into the playoffs if all the playoff teams would have just quarantined themselves. Look, we're all playing at the same gym. We're all using the same camera people. You're all moving in until you get eliminated. You're moving into this complex. NBA basketball should be here. We want to talk about the future of the NBA. Where am I wrong on that, Blake?
Well, they got to make money. I guess that would be the first thing. They would have to, maybe, if they could have some way of doing maybe a pay-per-view,
Yes.
or people could
Yes.
pay for that, then I guess that's plausible, where they could play in empty arenas. But there's so much money involved that
they're going to lose the season, and there will be zero involved. And I would say pay-per-view or not, sell me Coca-Cola, sell me McDonald's, sell me a Toyota, a Chevrolet, sell me the pistachios, not a sponsor yet. You can still advertise. You can advertise with the logo over the entire game. It just, now Pepsi sits there, now Ford sits there. You're advertising. You're making all that revenue. And you got to have a champion. You got to have a champion. You're reaching the point quickly where you can't just undo this damage. You got to just grab your games and start playing.
Perhaps. And what point do we get to where this has been too overblown? There's too much money and too much advertising, and maybe it's time to maybe rethink these schedules, the playoffs, the amount of money, the amount of time. Is it healthy for the culture? Yes, to an extent, yes. But where do we say rethink things, improve things, and how do we go forward? Yeah, so how do we fix there's got to be a champion, right? They got so close to the playoffs. But say here's another angle at it. See, I think there's way too many games, first of all, for some of these sports. And maybe the NBA should only be 50 games tops instead of 82. And maybe the playoffs should be best of 5 instead of best of 7. And we'd already be done with the season by now.
Blake, I forgot. Blake has been championing this cause for years. Yep. I forgot this is the perfect storm for you. You've brought this up to me many times, just that the national pastime, baseball, does not need to be 7 months long. It's an antiquated thing. I argue that there's nothing better that you could do than take your kid or, a nephew or something out to a ballpark in an afternoon, skip school, skip work, have some Cracker Jack and some hot dog with stadium mustard, and get that ice cream cone in the hat that's upside down, and you're just outside in the sun, you're just having a grand old time, and time just stops, and it's just this different thing. I think there's something awesome about that. I don't think we need less.
There was. I think was great, say before 1990. Yeah, I mean, especially back in the old days, because they didn't have TV, they didn't have, they didn't have Netflix, they didn't have video games. That was literally the entertainment, and it was cheap entertainment. It was something to do. Yeah, it was something to be excited about. And yeah, they had radio, and that was something you could follow too. But it was also, you would take the kid, and it was fun. You go get to have, cheap eats and beers, and it was a good time. Absolutely. I mean, if I was back in those days, yeah, I'd be the first person saying, yeah, you know what? I don't think 154 games is enough. Let's make it at least 162. Let's extend the playoffs, as many games as possible, because yeah, that was great entertainment in those days. But now in 2020, well, with the way they just the game has changed, and the money involved, and the corruption, and then it was the salaries for a while. It was the unions getting too strong, and around the 1990s, yeah, the steroid scandal, and then now you got more cheating.
No. Let's not jump to steroids. Let's remember the lost 1994 season with Albert Bell, Kenny Lofton, Carlos Baerga, the team that was supposed to win the World Series that year.
The team that was supposed to lose to the Expos and Larry Walker and Pedro Martinez.
The Tribe would have walloped you guys before we let it get inside of our heads. I know.
The Expos have Randy Johnson. It would have been Pedro Martinez and Randy Johnson. Larry Walker. The Expos were stacked.
Albert Bell could hit anything. Marquise.
But it would have been a great World Series, and we didn't get a chance to see it. So either way, I agree. That was a travesty.
We should relive that like once a year. We should have like do MLB The Show, or once again, not a sponsor yet, but we are looking for sponsors, by the way. Send me a message if you're interested. Oh, also, if you're interested, where'd that go? I have something I want to show everybody. Get a load of this, see? Get a load of this. This makes for compelling television, doesn't it? Well, I say, hang on a second, and you look at my head.
Yeah.
This is not supposed to be this complicated. Anyway, here we go. It just reminded me. See these things?
Oh, yeah.
Blake's in the club, and he didn't even know he's in a club.
I have it. I couldn't. Whoop, here.
There you go. You got to go like this.
There. Okay.
We got to remember what number Blake is. We got to get it sorted out. But anyway, if you guys are interested, these are fundraiser pins. This is for the Unhappy Hour Sports Show. There's only 100 that will ever be made. They are super rare. We want them to be valuable. I like collecting pins, whether it's Disney or the Kentucky Derby pins. I just like pins. They're neat. They're collectible. You'll never see this exact design. It'll say something like the Unhappy Hour, but it won't say sports shit. Like, you'll always know this is edition number 1. But if you want one of these, leave a message. Just say, hey, I'm in. Let me know. I've sent out a few. I'm waiting for Angie and John. They just have to send something over. I'll get those out. But 100% of this is going right to our graphic designer who made this awesome logo for us. And he said, look, I believe in what you're doing with the Unhappy Hour. Ted Distel, he helped me put it together. I believe in what you're doing. I know you don't have any money now. Just slap the logo on a few things, sell it, and then give me that when you have a chance. So I'm hawking it. I'm pushing it. If you're interested, type a message below. Yeah, Blake has one. He didn't even know that it was going to be an awesome thing, but it's turned into a nice fundraiser. We sent Ted $100 a couple days ago. Like, that's a grocery bill. Like, that's awesome. Like, that's the beginning of paying Ted for what he's done. And it's just so cool because you guys are helping do it.
Totally. Yeah. No, thank you. It was a pretty cool gift. Maybe we'll be on Pawn Stars in 20 years and they'll be like, oh my God.
Okay.
You have to prove its authenticity. You have to call the expert in, make sure it's the real deal, get it signature verified.
Who would the expert be?
I don't know. It's been a while since I've watched the show. I used to watch it religiously, but
Jeremy Vince, he got the first pin that we sent out for the donation. Minimum $25 donation. We'll take more though.
It'll be like the Honus Wagner card someday. It'll be like only 100 left. Yeah.
Well, that's what he said. He said, hey man, I'll support you guys. He goes, I'm hoping that I'll be able to sell this for a fortune on Pawn Stars one day. I go, trust me, so do I. That'll mean that we did good. That'll mean that we really made it. But anyhow, back to how did we get off on that tangent? I just had the idea that I wanted to remind everybody about these. Yep, only 100 will ever be made. They were pressed once. That's it. Never happening again.
We broke the mold.
Like, I feel like sports should be happening now. You could be having your NHL playoffs. Just quarantine your teams. Just keep them in. You test them. Keep them around the same people, and just say, hey, let's go. And then all you do is you put it on TV. People have nothing to watch. We've watched.
I hear you, but where's the money coming from?
from the advertisers, from Coca-Cola, from Pepsi, from White Castle, from all of the places selling a Hyundai. Get the new Santa Fe.
It's not
The
very
NFL
American.
playoffs brought to you by Kroger Food. Contactless delivery from Taco Bell. Just use the Grubhub app. It's free in the month of May. Blah, blah, blah. Like, you know, John Tesh wrote that. Do you know John?
Yes, the NBA theme, of course. That was pretty amazing.
What an awesome
Classic, right?
Second only to the guy that did the NBC slogan, their song. Doom, doom, doom. Okay, I'm gonna collect millions of dollars for the rest of my years. Okay.
Royalty checks for the rest of his life.
Yeah. But anyway, I propose that the team should have been quarantined and playing by now.
Okay, so how do you want to set it up? Like a tournament, and it's going to be the same best of 7 series? Because that's one of my issues with the NBA playoffs. Is it just drags on forever. Like, really, the opening round is 7 games, and you got how many rounds? Like, it's just absurd. And I think it just becomes a waste. Like, why isn't like you win the 3rd time it counts? So, maybe the World Series could be the best of 7. It's sort of a tradition, but the rest of it just seems like it's a money-making thing, and I don't think that's really necessarily good for the sports. I think it's been too overblown. It's kind of had that sort of idiocracy effect on the culture of just becoming too much sports, and these guys get paid too much money, and I don't think it's healthy. I think it's great. I think sports are great, and I think people should be involved in their own sports. And yeah, it's cool to watch the pros and the college, or prep or what have you, or your own kids. But I think it's overblown. Yeah, and baseball's I think the one that needs the most serious makeover. But yeah, even hockey and NBA should be like 50 games tops, not 82 plus 7-round playoffs.
They're floating a theory now for Major League Baseball to realign the divisions, and there's only 2 divisions now.
I saw that. So yeah, there's only for just the one season.
I don't really understand the point. Once again, I say sleep in the barracks in the Grapefruit League, and just play ball, play doubleheaders all day, just like it's nonstop ball, and just have everybody get tested. I don't know, like just go start play.
I think it's just gonna be so weird without any fans, and just with I don't know how the money
game. There's part. Haven't you felt that part of society has been disconnected by this? Like now. I remember. Think back to the days when you would wake up to see if Delino DeShields went 2 for 3, had 3 stolen bases and 4 runs scored.
Yeah, that was cool. But then at the same time, I look back and I go, wow, what a waste of time. He just like studying box scores on a daily basis, 6 days a week. They play 6 games a week, Brian.
But that's my point. But at least
for 6 months, it's insane. Yeah.
But at least it gave you a continuity of the timeline that was elapsing. Right now, it's hard to figure out what day of the week it is, what month we're in. Right. Everything's the same as the week before it and after it, and there's no continuity. We've lost the timelines, the circadian rhythms of the NBA and NHL ending and baseball starting, and we know it's gardening time and spring is on us and summer's here. There's a rhythm that we've lost. We're out of sync right now.
Yeah, but is it a good rhythm? I've kind of like. I think this has been good for the country to kind of hit pause on our civilization, because I think it was just way too like a big fast-paced rat race constantly. And yeah, there's always some kind of sports going, and they're overlapping, and they're going for months and months. It's like, wait a second. Let's find some other interests. Let's slow things down a little bit. Let's find out what really matters in life.
So rather than tell me what really matters in life.
Well, I don't think it's healthy when, everybody's working, so many hours doing so many different jobs, and families aren't getting to have the enough time to spend with each other. And for people to just pursue their own interests rather than constantly working just to survive.
By the way, we're doing this on Zoom. I believe we have this scheduled for 40 minutes long. At some point it will end. So when it ends, deuces. See you.
Yeah.
But this is a test. We're going to try to set this up so different times of the day we can start dropping different content. Check out the home pages, TheNewAmericanMedia.com. From TheNewAmericanMedia.com, you can follow us on Twitter. We're at American_media_. That's on the bottom right of the webpage. Underneath that is our Facebook feed for The New American Media. Click that. We do a show called Agree to Disagree, the Agree to Disagree show. There's a separate group for that. These are all private groups. This has been a 9-year secret beta test. Hey, guess what? The secret's out. It's. By the way, Blake, have you found it funny that all of the content that's being created anywhere looks like us, looks like this, like somebody on a camera in some office, and everything's kind of been reduced to this common denominator, and the playing field has never been more knocked down and leveled. We are all in the basement or the den or the kitchen or the living room on the laptop. You're on your phone. You have the same splotchy connection. I don't know if you've been watching a lot of content, Blake, but I think
Yeah.
we're providing what anyone else is providing right now, which is wild.
Yeah, it's amazing how what the technology's caught up, especially for the little guys. But then it's the great equalizer, because you're seeing some of the big time talk show hosts and stuff. They're recording from home, and it looks a lot different without the live studio audience.
I have a few things I want to say about the coronavirus. Okay.
Oh, they're horrible.
Right.
Yeah.
Come on, what's yours?
Oh, yeah, Kimmel or was Seth Meyers or is it Colbert. It's just so bad. They put on their shows and it's just nonstop attacking the president. They really they don't have anything else to talk about except just getting on, just railing and roasting the president on a daily basis. And a lot of it's just not that funny. They're just reading the scripts, and it's very strange time.
Absolutely. I don't know, the future of sports. I don't know if they're going to end up doing that with the Cactus League thing, but I would love to see them just go move into Field of Dreams for a month. You put 4 teams out there. You rent some RVs. You camp out at Field of Dreams, and it's like you got nonstop games. You got 8 teams that play 4 games. You got 4 games each day. You rotate through. You do double headers. All sorts of stuff.
But do you want to play that or watch it?
Would I want to play that or watch it?
Yeah, you want to be? Is this to participate or is this to watch? And are you talking about the ghosts of baseball legends past, or are we talking just the people that are existing today? Because I'll pay to go see Shoeless Joe and Babe Ruth smack the ball around. But I don't know if
I'm talking about Francisco Lindor. I'm talking about you just grab the modern teams of today and you go do it. There's a literal field there. Just go play.
Yeah, right. And they're going to charge $150 a ticket and $12 beers.
Nobody would go.
$25 for parking.
Nobody would go. It would be advertised it would be broadcast to the masses through television.
Okay.
And that's how you advertise for Dr. Pepper and whatnot. That's how it works. I don't know. It's going to be interesting because I think California and Los Angeles have been saying that they're not going to allow fans at live sporting events through 2021. The whole industry of, I got people working in music, the live concert with 500,000 people. What do you think just happened to all of these events? To 80,000 people in a baseball. Nimbus, what are you doing? Hang on.
Hey, buddy.
Come on now.
Oh, Nimbus. Little rascal. He's a cool cat, though, but he's trouble. Got a little personality, but he's a little naughty when he wants to be.
Yeah, man, he's something else. He's a treat, let me tell you.
Yeah, he's a character.
trying to speak cat, and it's like, yeah. But anyway, I'm of the opinion you gotta crown a champion. You gotta get to the NHL. You gotta get to that. I think it matters. I know it doesn't matter. I know. But it
Well,
also,
it does.
but it also does. And it's
Yeah, they've gotten
doable.
this far
It's
in
doable.
the season, and it's like, yeah, you just gotta do. You're so close. You gotta finish it, and then where do you begin the next season?
Pick something. Throw a dart. I can blame them for trying and being creative. So instead of maybe 12 teams, 6 in each conference that make the playoffs, maybe say it's 8. And instead of 7 games a series, it's 5. You try to bring a condensed playoff together and just say, hey, to try to keep it on the same timelines, we lost a month and a half, and we're going to condense like we lost a few of the early rounds. And here you go. Like, just play. I think it matters. I think it would be great to see. I think people want to see it. Why is golf not happening? You can broadcast golf. That's social distancing 101. More sporting events. Where are those ABC? Those old campy 1970s sports competitions with like Scott Baio. He's gonna be there down on the beach doing some sort of sports competition. Where's all the?
Yeah.
There's got to be more competition that we could be watching right now.
Sorry, I wouldn't watch golf even if it was live and the only thing on. No offense, it's just not my thing. But
What do you miss the most? Do you miss any sport in particular the most?
I mean, really, what it comes down to in me in the year 2020 is I'm pretty much just into NFL football, and I did really miss March Madness. Those are probably the 2 things I
Oh,
like the most. And yeah, this hit right as March Madness was about to begin, or at least the conference championships, right? Championship week.
hey man,
So
I'm living in Louisville,
yeah,
University of Kentucky, and the Louisville fans. I mean, it's all red and it's all blue and it's all year round. They are hardcore. It doesn't get any more hardcore when you're talking about 2 very close proximity, top-notch college basketball teams. March Madness is a big deal. So when we lost March Madness, then we lost the Kentucky Derby. Hey man, I'll say that the world changed with Rudy Gobert when the NBA, the day that sports died. That was really when the world took note that something was wrong, that we couldn't push this off anymore. That was kind of when the world decided, all right, we done now. We gotta, there's a storm on the way. Head to the bunker. I can hear the tornado. Get downstairs.
yeah.
And it was based on sports. That sports moment was the catalyst. When the seasons were suspended, that's when everybody went,
Like what? March Madness is gone. Like yeah.
like 20 deaths at the time.
Yeah, exactly. It seemed like such an overreaction. And then they were talking about, yeah, playing in the empty stadiums, and that's maybe how they're going to do that, the arenas. But then, yeah, they just ended up canceling that whole thing too. Well, I think a couple of guys got sick on the Utah Jazz or something. That was kind of a scare. Maybe that was part of the reason. But yeah, we didn't know it. With the incubation thing of this COVID-19, and who knew how many people were infected and dragging it where, and who knows, that's a whole nother story as well. But yeah, they reacted very quickly, and yeah, the fans suffered, got a rude reality check, I guess.
Yeah, man. So, future sports.
Yeah.
We'll do a show on the tribe later. We'll see what Rob Manfred does. I think he's the worst commissioner in all of sports. I don't know how he took that title from Goodell, but getting the Indians to get rid of Chief Wahoo, um, changing the rules and how many innings a relief pitcher can pitch.
What? I didn't hear that.
Oh yeah, it's like if you bring in a player, they have to finish the inning or pitch to 3 consecutive batters. Or he's just doing stupid
Well,
necessary surgery.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't agree with that, but I see where he's coming from, and that's part of the issue I have with baseball, and which used to be my religion in life, but now I kind of look at it, and yeah, you see all they put in the pitcher to face what they bring in the lefty to bring into one batter, and then they switch it again, and you get these huge long games where it's like 3 hours long, and it's not fun. I don't get it anymore. I used to enjoy that, but yeah, it's another thing is that they need to find a way to reduce the length of these games. And I was thinking, future of sports, baseball, why not even just reduce it to 7 innings instead of 9?
Because I don't want to. I like tradition. I think tradition is fun.
Yeah, but I don't know. Like I said, it made sense at the time, but it does not make sense in today, in the 21st century. It's not translating the same.
All right, Blake, let me ask you here. How long have we been live? I'm looking, I've never used Zoom before. It doesn't show me like a timer, like how many minutes have elapsed.
Yeah, it's not going to cut us off, to my knowledge, but I believe we started this 44 minutes ago. I don't remember when we hit record though, so we'll say 40 minutes.
I think that's all I had was 40 minutes because I got a message saying you can only record 40 minutes worth. What are you sipping on, sir?
Well, White Claw, my friend. Cheers.
White Claw in a cup. Oh, there you go. Oh, wait, hold on. You got is that mango or lemon?
This is the mango. This is the black cherry, and then I'm going to switch to the mango.
So White Claw is the way, huh? You guys are. Oh,
I'm a believer now.
I was gonna say about March Madness that we did our Munch Madness tournament. Were you voting in those?
No, I loved it last year with the cereal bracket, but this year made no sense to me, and it was very no, all the restaurant. No, the Swensons. I'm here in Vegas. I'm from Minnesota. I live in
Fast
Vegas. I'm in
food.
LA. There were so many of these restaurants that I never even heard of, and they were winning because it seems like a lot of the people that were voting are from the Cleveland area, mostly the unhappy hour fans, which is great, but for a lot of us who are trying to figure out like what these restaurants, I don't know. So
We had Carl's Jr., we had Jack in the Box, we had
yeah,
Out. They did okay, but yeah, there's no way Swenson should have beat Chick-fil-A. No way.
well, yeah, that's part of it, yeah. But I had an issue with a lot of the ways they were the finishes, and so I didn't know if some of these people, have had all the restaurants or not. So I didn't think it was totally fair. It was fun, but again,
So anyway, with Munch Madness, we do that every year. But yeah, with the White Claw, we were thinking about doing one for like beverages. It gets so tricky. Like, how do you define it? And for fast food places, it was pretty easy to get to 40, 45, okay. But when you're trying to get to 64, it's like, oh God, you got these obscure places, or you have places that are more like Chili's, Applebee's, Denny's, Waffle House, Buffalo Wild Wings. Those aren't fast food, but kinda. I don't know.
yeah,
Like, how do you get
exactly.
to 64? And it's very regional. You have your regional places too, like Baker's should have made the list. I don't know why I didn't put Baker's in.
I don't even know what
You don't know
Baker's
that one?
is. Baker's Square, I've heard of. I
No,
never
no,
heard
no.
of Baker's.
Baker's is if you head into the Inland Empire, stay on the 10, and just start going out into the desert, cruise through California, and like Baker's is in several locations out here, and it's like it's part burgers and stuff, and then it's part Mexican stuff, and it's good and it's weird, but
Yeah, I mean, I'd love the idea. Yeah, I'd have to try more. So if there was a way to maybe get, I don't know. I guess you'd have to do a smaller bracket. But it was an ambitious try, and it was fun for a lot of people. I did not participate. I maybe got in the voting on maybe 7 or 8 times, and then I was like,
which ones were you the most upset that they lost? Because I was so upset with Chick-fil-A.
really, well, Chick-fil-A is kind of new for me because they
Oh,
didn't exist in Minnesota or Las Vegas
okay,
until
fair.
probably the last 5 years is
If
when
I
they
didn't
came.
if I didn't
Huh?
come here to Louisville, I I I think I'd never had one until I came here.
Oh yeah, they're huge in the South. Yeah, in the
Mhm.
East. Yeah, they've always historically been.
I'm new to it,
Um,
very new. But
yeah,
it's just fantastic service, top notch stuff. The only thing you can knock them on is that they're only open 6 of the 7 days of the week. The food's fantastic if you're into chicken.
yeah.
It's
I mean, it's the thing is the menu's
great
limited.
quality.
Yeah, no, but you're absolutely right. The service is great.
Service
Yeah,
is
if you're
so
into
good.
chicken, yes, it's very good. But yeah, it has its limitations as well.
Yeah, and
But
I
no,
think
it's
we might have had Pizza Hut and some of the pizza places started making it because they do drive through, and it's just the definitions of how to get into this bracket were a little. It was tough. It was tough to get to like your core 64. Whereas with cereal, well, cereals were weird too. I mean, we ended up going with like, all right, what type of old timey cereals can Mr. T's cereal sneak its way in somehow, just for like nostalgia's sake?
yeah, no, it's cool. I mean, there's only like in the cereal bracket, I've heard of almost all of them except for maybe there's like a handful I didn't, and they were all like low seeds anyway. So it was almost like the
Right.
real March Madness, where it's like, oh, this is school I never even heard of, but and they just gonna get run over by the one seed. But yeah,
St.
no,
Mary's
that
School
was a
of
lot
the
of fun. I
Blind.
like it.
St. Mary's School of the Blind is playing who's University of North Carolina? What? Okay, let's see how this goes. Bam.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. Some of them got smoked, and I know there were some homers that took Swenson's way too far, but it was fun.
Yeah,
So
what the
like
heck
my
is Swenson's? I never heard of such a thing. I mean,
LeBron
I'm sure
James
it's
went to
great, but
Swenson's.
huh?
LeBron James took the cast of what was that movie with Amy Schumer?
Oh, I don't know.
Dude, it was when LeBron first came back. What was the name of the movie? Not knocked up? No. What was it called? I don't have a computer in front of me. All right, you can bust my chops on that. I don't remember the name of it.
Yeah, sorry, I can't help you with
All
that.
right,
I'm
so
not
here's
a.
here's my question while I look up the name of that movie. What should the next Munch Madness be? 64 what? Because we talked about liquors, we talked about beers, we talked about rock bands. Like we're talking about like in TNAM music doing like a music madness tournament. Because we're so
Music would be
freaking
cool.
bored.
Yeah, I like music too. Maybe you can have to do a couple of smaller brackets instead of trying to get 64. You can just do 32, maybe even 16 if you want, or do two 16 battles of different subjects. Maybe I don't know. I'm just throwing some ideas out there because that's very hard, especially with
Train
the
wreck.
restaurants. What's that?
Train wreck with Amy Schumer and LeBron James.
Yeah, I don't know anything about that. Must be what is a movie?
You never watch that? 2015.
No, it was LeBron and Amy Schumer.
Yeah.
No, it must have been terrible.
No, it was great.
Yeah, right.
It was good. No, it was really good.
Okay, I'll take your word on that. Yeah, I didn't. I'm not. It does not ring a bell at all.
Colin Quinn.
2015.
I don't know. I'm just. Oh, John Cena. That's right. Dave Attell.
I love Dave Attell.
Tilda Swinton. Randall Park. Anyway, no, it was a good movie. Judd Apatow was the director. What's the main guy? Bill Bill something.
Yeah, Hater
Hader.
used to be on SNL, and I think he's one of the writers on South Park. Sometimes he
Is
does
he?
a
He's
lot
a
of
writer on
impressions.
South Park.
What's up?
He's a writer on South Park.
I believe so, and then he's also he does a ton of impressions. He was on some HBO show too, Barry. There's a couple seasons of that I saw. He's an interesting guy.
What about beers? Top 64 beers.
I think
Liquors.
there are enough beers, and I think a lot of people have had them as long as you're not doing it too regionally with or too many microbrews. I
Mm.
think there are a lot. Yeah, it'd be interesting if you throw in the White Claw, and I'm not like necessarily endorsing this. Um,
We will take them as a sponsor. We enjoy them in the household as well.
yeah, I didn't know what they were a couple months ago. I was like, what? And people were trying to compare it to Zima or something, like some weird fad thing, and then I actually, took a look and tried it. But no, it's really just like a flavored club soda. It's like seltzer, but it's good. Yeah, and it's not heavy like beer is. I mean, I used to like my beer, but I'm like, yeah, just it's filling, and this is so much easier,
It's
in my
easier to
opinion.
drink a few of those. You know, they're carbonated, they're light. They don't leave you like really burpy or heavy. You know, they don't give
Exactly.
that bloated kind of. They just go down a little smoother. Yeah, I love the claw. I'm basic AF. I'm all about the claw, no doubt about it. Have you
Yeah,
tried the
no,
flavors, the
it's legit.
watermelon and the lemon?
Oh yeah, you got a few different flavors. I'm not like I don't drink that often, but yeah, I think they're all pretty good. Yeah, I mean even the rivals have taken over. Yeah, you get Truly and Bud Light and Corona, and everybody else is getting in on it. But yeah, I think they're here to stay. This is the future, especially yeah, a lot of people that don't like gluten and the calories.
Speaking of gluten, was COVID-19 something that came from a bat soup or something that was released from a bioweapons lab, Blake?
It looks like it very well could be. There is something very suspicious about that and how it came to be, and what kind of roles people had in this Wuhan lab, and how it ties to Fauci or World Health Organization and the Chi-Coms and Bill Gates. And I'm not really sure how everything, all the pieces work. But yeah, certainly we need to get some answers on what really happened there.
Mr. Wally, why do you think that video of the two doctors from California has been banned by YouTube after getting 5 million views in about a day?
Because it counters the narrative of what people like Fauci or Bill Gates and the mainstream media would like people to believe, and to yeah, live in fear and have either some really expensive medications that they hold patents on, or wait for the vaccines that they can make billions off of. So yeah, and
We'll take a question from Adam. Adam just joined in the Unhappy Hour Facebook group. He said, late night Brian live. All right, Adam, you're the
yeah.
Tribe fan. Give us a question. We started on sports. We kind of ran our course, and now we're just talking about COVID because, you know, hey, there's a reason why we're all sitting around doing this. COVID kind of, you know, and let me tell you, because COVID, it stopped sports. You know, that's what we were talking about, that it stopped sports. And you said that you thought this was a good thing for humanity. What, to slow down and just reprioritize, right?
Yeah, I don't think this is the way civilization is supposed to be, where it's just go, go, go constantly all the time, and we're always working and doing something and having to run our errands, and then we get our quick little weekend where we get to kind of catch up a little bit, and then all of a sudden it's Monday morning again, where we're right back, go, 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 and it's just on our phones, constantly bombarded, and it's just like, you know, finally we get to kind of catch our breath a little bit, breathe, and wait a second, is this how life is supposed to be? Here in LA, and it's like you start seeing the earth heal itself, and the skies are getting cleaner, and it's like we're not stuck in traffic. Like, do people need to be doing this where we're always on the go and in our cars? And you know, it doesn't seem like this is the ideal life that we should be striving for. I mean, it works for some, but maybe it's also a time to rethink how we want to do things now and going forward, which of course again ties into the sports things. How do we view sports going forward? What do we change? What do we do differently? How do we finish this up in 2020 and beyond?
Adam chimed in. He said, time with the family and loved ones has been great.
Yeah,
It's just, it's just,
these are like your kids are like, oh my god, they grow up so fast, and all you're doing is working. When's daddy gonna be home? Oh, you know, yeah. And it's like before you know it, you missed out on everything. So this has been, I think this has been good.
and that's the good version of the dad that's around, right? The good
Right.
version is
And
he
for
misses
many
out on
people,
everything while he's on the hamster wheel. The bad version is he doesn't even show up anymore, disappears, or something catastrophic happens, or for 100 reasons. You're missing part of that. They're like, man, a lot of people grow up in very fractured, damaged, partial, incomplete ways. Being raised by people that may have been raised by damaged people. You just go down the list, and it's just like family's an interesting thing. I mean, I just buried my mom, so it was just kind of like rethinking family dynamics and reconnecting with ancillary family members that I maybe haven't been in close contact with for many years. Um, yeah,
yeah, I mean, everyone's
society.
situation is differently. Yeah, this is a wild time. Yeah, for some people, this is just pure torture, and they're just going out of their minds, and they're stuck with people they don't like, or they're just extroverted and they don't like being stuck in the house. They want to be out socializing. But for me, as you can see, this is like paradise for the introverts here. It's like, oh, okay, I get to just hang out and yeah, get paid. That's even better. So thankfully, the government's throwing some money around for us to survive in these times, and I'm all good with it.
Yeah, I mean, it was tough, man. We both got yeah. It's been wild. It's been tough. It's been tough. And as tough as it's been for you and I, it's been 10 times tougher for a lot of people. We're somewhere
Absolutely.
in the middle of the boat where we got kicked in the nads and we had to drop to a knee, and we're still catching our breath. But all right, we might okay. We're still winded, and we're not quite. Still kind of talking with that bitch voice. Can't really carry this. It's not good, but I might make it. There's a lot of people that are, like you said, stuck with people they might not want to be with, or uh, no money coming in. They don't qualify for unemployment. They don't. What? It's just, it's tough, dude. It's strange.
Yep, struggle's real, man.
Yeah, yeah. I did you watch the NFL draft? Did you watch any of it?
Oh yeah, I watched a lot of it actually. I watched the entire first round, and I pretty much had the rest of it was on the computer all the time, or I was constantly looking at stuff. I mean, mostly it was just to try to tune in for the my Vikings. But yeah, I mean, like I said, I did tune in for most of the first round, and yeah, it was pretty much up to date. That was it was a lot of fun. Finally, I've been waiting for that. It's one of my favorite events, so it was good to catch that. And I know you did some live broadcasts, so and you covered it extensively.
I did, at least from the Cleveland Browns perspective.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, I wouldn't be able to report on it from the whole. I only know the first 25 best players. After that, all I care about is whoever the Vikings draft for the most part.
well, how about I tell you that the first three picks all played at the Ohio State University?
That is true.
You know how wild
I
that is
mean,
to think about?
yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, Ohio. Well, technically, yeah. Joe Burrow started at Ohio State and then transferred
Yeah.
to LSU.
Yep.
But yeah, it's still significant. Yeah, I mean, Ohio State
The
is one of the
unanimous
biggest
number
programs
one
in the
pick.
country. What's that?
The unanimous number one pick, national championship winner, and number one pick, national championship winner, and Heisman winner, wasn't good enough to start at Ohio State. So yes, that says a lot, that you can be the best and you still weren't good enough to do, like. And then pick number two is defensive end Chase Young, who is an absolute beast. And you add both of the Bosa brothers. This is defensive end university at Ohio State. Oh my gosh, are they cranking out NFL talent, top-notch defensive end play? And then number three, Jeff Okudah, the cornerback, going to the Detroit Football Lions. Like, man, like, to be picks number 1, 2, and 3. I'm so blessed to have been a Buckeye fan during this heyday, because I had my heart ripped out over and over with John Cooper's late 80s, mid 90s, late 90s versions of the teams before Tressel came in. We'd get so close but could never beat that team up north, or we'd lose that bowl game, and it was just the worst. And now we're on a run of football excellence. Only 2 championships to show for it, which is very depressing because we've had some fantastic teams.
Oh God, cry me a river.
Hey,
We'll get you a championship.
we could have had about 6 more.
So you feel better if you had 6? You really
If I had
stick it. You get
8
into bragging rights.
If I had 8,
Everybody know
Otto Graham, yes, I'd feel a lot
that
better.
make you feel better than everybody.
Yes, it would.
Walk into a room with your Ohio State sweatshirt on, like, oh, everyone's gonna buy me drinks and shake my hand.
Buy me drinks and shake my hand. Or
Yeah.
shake my drinks and buy my hand. Adam says Cleveland perspective is the only one that matters. Yes, absolutely. He's saying tribe games this year. It's gonna happen. This is for sure our year. Yes, this is our year, dude. And then the Browns are gonna kill it. I think the Browns are going to smash. I mean, Blake, you see that the Browns are going to go undefeated and win the Super Bowl this year, right?
Oh my goodness! I don't know about that, Brian, but I could say
in the NFL.
Well, I think you guys certainly have you have a much improved team. You certainly have the capability of having a successful year. And the AFC is not.
Predicts the Browns I'm sorry.
No, I was going to say the AFC isn't that strong. You guys are definitely going to struggle with the division with Baltimore, but you guys certainly would be in the running for a wild card. There's certainly, I can say the Cleveland has a definite chance at going into the playoffs, and who knows. So yeah, it's brighter days ahead for the franchise, that's for sure. So I think things are very optimistic there. They seem to be making good moves. It was kind of sad last year with the Freddie Kitchens thing, and it had its limitations. They had some problems. Took a step back, but I think they've going forward. They're in a pretty good position. So I think this is the first time in a long time where you can say that the Cleveland Browns have a potentially bright future ahead of you.
Yeah. I think back to those days, the Bernie Kosar, Webster Slaughter, Reggie Langhorne, Ozzie Newsome.
It's like 30 years ago, dude.
I know. It's been brutal, man. It's been a brutal time since 1995, or 96, whenever the team was officially taken. It's been nuts, man. All right. Well, let's do this. Let's pause here. Let's wrap this up, shall we? Any final words?
No, I'm good. It's been fun. Little test run here on Zoom. Covering a few different topics.
That's right. Final question. Can we trust these COVID numbers?
No, I think they're definitely padding it to make it look worse than it is. I don't know how bad. I don't know if this lockdown is really necessary, but at the same time, I kind of like it. I don't want it to end quite yet. I'm not in a big hurry to plug back into the matrix, into the rat race again. Not anytime soon. I don't, but it's a complex issue. It was an interesting test to see this is how we should react in these things, and we were just taking the precautions. I think now it's kind of clear that it's not as devastating as they say it is. And you're right, Brian, when you were saying that if they need to quarantine anybody, they should just be quarantining the elderly more so than having the rest of the civilization have to be locked at home to protect.
I mean, it's something along the lines of 75% and 95%. Every test is going to be different. Every sample size will be more unique than others, and something north of 60%, 75%, 85% of the deaths, people most severely impacted, that they are the elderly. So maybe quarantine the elderly, and let's start with that. I just, how do you get bars and restaurants back? How do you get airlines going? What about hotels? Like this is an economic 9/11 multiplied by Hiroshima. I mean, and this is on one hand, this is a self-inflicted Hiroshima. This is a Nagasaki that we dropped on ourselves. But on the other hand, no, China did this. Do you feel like this being an accident is more likely, or do you think that this is something that could have been intentional, or something that could have started off, tried to be kept on a small scale, and it got out of hand? I mean, it feels like an act of war, Blake. I'm asking your thoughts on China, and is this an act of war?
Well, Brian, I got to speak very carefully because we're using a Chinese program right now that is allegedly being used to spy on people. I don't know if that's true or not.
I just said that to Eric, and he's like, "Rrr." So, right, this is a Chinese device, right?
Well, I think there's some concern over some of the Chinese hardware and whether it could be used against us. Some people are saying that a lot of the drones that they have in the United States used by police are made in China. So who knows what they're recording. The 5G towers or any of the technology could even be Apple phones or I don't know how to pronounce it, Hawaii or whatever the company
Huawei.
is. Huawei. Okay, yeah. So who knows? I'm not saying there is, but yeah, with this possibilities that you said, I think it's all of the above. I think it could be an accident. It could have been intentional.
Did you ever read The Stand by Stephen King?
Yeah, remember you maybe watched that 4-hour horrible series on Netflix or something? Yeah, that was a horror. It was terrible.
Don't worry. You know what? You need to say something to Amanda.
It's kind of funny, huh?
You need to say something. You two need to communicate because I convinced both of you to watch that and you both thought equally of it.
Oh, who was the other person?
Amanda. Oh, she
Okay.
was not a fan of. I mean, it's awful. But anyway, I meant the book.
Maybe if I saw it back in whatever 1988 or whatever it came out, it might have been a lot less cheesy. But
yeah, it was cheesy as hell. But the book was great.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, in that book, Captain Trips, it escaped from a lab. It was an accident, and one guy got out with it, and he spread it across the country with him, and that just. So they had their safety protocols, and the protocols weren't sufficient, just like Fukushima. In case of emergency, I don't know. We didn't think that far. Oh, you didn't think that far in advance. Okay. All right. Awesome. This is great.
Yeah.
So, okay. So it's just interesting to get your perspective, your point of view on what you think this is and where it came from. And I know we're all guessing.
Yeah, I mean, I made a report on that, on my thoughts. I think it's called Questioning the Quarantine Quagmire.
You love alliterations, don't you?
I certainly do.
Excuse me. You adore alliterations.
Okay. Yes. Something like that. Yes.
Blake always adores alliterations. Awesome.
Very good, Brian. Yes, you're doing very well. Taught you well.
Absolutely. Anyway.
Good one.
Okay. I'm out. Anyhow.
Thank you, Brian. It's been a pleasure. Did you want to? What is your take on this COVID accident? Intentional?
You know what? I do you think? Do you think that I should air the full unedited version of the podcast that I did, Big Fish in the Little Kingdom? A lot of my anti-Chinese rhetoric was considered incendiary, and anything that was possibly detrimental to the Chinese, the Communist Party of China, was edited out. Do you think I should publish that on the New American Media? I believe I got the full transcript to that show that we did. My portion went up, and it was well received, but it wasn't my full thoughts, and I found it curious. Maybe I could elaborate more on what I thought 2 days when the pandemic first hit. and see how much of that is held true.
Yeah, go for it. Or throw it on a different platform or float it out there somewhere. If you're afraid of getting censored on YouTube or
Ah,
Twitter or what have you, but you could, there are other video platforms that aren't nearly as popular as YouTube,
ooh,
but they don't have the censorship. You could
like
try throwing it on there and seeing what happens.
put it on Betamax.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Betamax.
Put it in Betamax and throw it in a box. Yeah. Oh my God.
See, my dad was a firm believer in the Betamax, and he backed the wrong horse. It was VHS.
I remember having a Betamax player when I was a kid that long time ago. Yeah, quite interesting how things have changed.
Hey, remember when we grew up without a thing called the internet?
Yeah, it was a good times.
Uh, good
Good.
Lord. Good
I'm
Lord,
so
Blake.
yeah, we're very happy. I'm very fortunate that we got to experience life before the internet and totally took over and changed everything. Nowadays, yeah, the kids they grow up right into it. We actually had an opportunity to kind of have to be like normal humans in a way where we got to play outside and play with Legos and stuff and not be just thrown into an iPad or whatever. As a
It
kid, I don't
was
know.
for perspective, pre 9/11. God, that was such a long time ago. Pre 9/11, it was like halfway through the Clinton administration when most of us got a first personal computer in our homes. And they were big and they were expensive. They were heavy. They were clunky. They weren't that great. They were on a slow dial up modem. But I mean, I had been going to my friends' places, and like my friend Mark, his grandfather was into Macintosh computers, so we would play these floppy disk games. You remember
Yeah.
those? You'd
Oh
play
yeah.
those, the mystery games. You go into the room, you have a key, you open the thing, and we were playing those things in school. And yeah, man, I mean, we grew up without this stuff, and we transitioned into it, and it's weird and it's interesting. But now we're jumping forward into like Fahrenheit 451 or Brave New World or 1984, and it's like, do you have to have? What did you just open a drink?
No, I was finishing the last of it. Yeah.
Ah, like, do you have your quarantine card? Can you travel throughout the United States? Have you been vaccinated? Do you have the chip? Do you have the mark of the beast? Do you have your tattoo? Are they tracking your phone? Or do you have a good social credit score? All these things. Like this is now this is the world that we're transitioning into. I don't like this part. I don't like this part.
Yeah, that's the world they've been trying to transition us to for a long time, and there's been resistance, but certainly they've used this crisis, whether natural or not, to to get their agenda through. And if it was their way, they'd have this lockdown continue until they had a vaccine, and then everybody could get their papers or their clearance. And yeah, that's what they're trying for. And then the entire population can be micromanaged and surveilled, and mandatory vaccinations and other kind of terrifying things. And yeah, no cash and just keeping track of everything. So that would be a nightmare. Well, for us, not for the people running it. But yeah, so we'll see how this all plays out. But yeah, very exciting time to be here on Earth in 2020. How our lives have changed.
Well, then let's end it here, and then let me see if I can upload this file to YouTube, and this will just be us. This will be beta test, Zoom beta test number 1.
Yeah, it's been fun. So
Yeah, thank you for watching on Facebook. Click subscribe and all that jazz. Invite your friends. Final thoughts, Blake. Final word.
no, not really. Just stay tuned for more because This is one of the most. You couldn't ask for a better news cycle. You know, in a way, it was a couple months ago. It seemed like there was really not much going on. I was just like, okay, we're just heading for the old Trump re-election landslide, and we'll see how things go. And next thing you know, our whole lives are upside down. We're under quarantine, and we don't know what's going to happen next.
Yep.
It was like, oh my God, millions of people are going to die, and this is then there's empty store shelves, and people are freaking out. And we don't know if there's going to be lockdown and martial law, and here we are. Now we've all kind of got a chance to chill, and now people are getting antsy to open things back up, and then people are freaking out whether it's too early and there's going to be a second wave or so. And then of course you got the economic catastrophe that we're going to be feeling for a while, or who knows, maybe this could lead to some better things down the road. We can wipe out that debt or change our civilization, work out some new ideas, make a better future going forward. So is that time for us to stop and think about how things are, how things were, and how things should be going forward.
All right. Well, then let's do many more shows, and let's
Sounds
think
good.
about the way forward. The way forward. That's today's show title. The way forward.
Okay.
All right. To be
Sounds
continued.
good. All right. Thanks, Brian.
Peace out.
Peace.
I'm going to hit stop